Are live now. Welcome to the Illawarra Songwriters live stream. And we're all here. My name is Anthony Snape. The aim here is to build this space into a positive, encouraging online community interested in enriching the music culture of the South Coast by connecting like-minded creative individuals, people like you and you. Promoting original writing, our future online sessions intend to expose and unite songwriters and music artists to a wider audience and to each other. If you are interested in being an advocate and helping to build this space, we would love to hear from you. Or if you know someone who would like to be on the show, or you would like to be on the show yourself, like the page and send us a DM. How are you guys going?
Good. Great.
Welcome.
Doing great.
Soggy Sunday.
Yes, Sunday in the Illawarra. I'll tell you what, the rain, oh my goodness. It's nuts. How's it been? Actually, let's do a roll call and see where everyone's at. Jackie, where are you at?
I'm at Bomaderry.
Nice. How's the rain there? Crazy?
Yeah. Well, I've been at Epping today and it was terrible, and it's okay here.
Oh, wow.
Epping's worse.
What about you, Danny?
Settled down.
About you, Denny?
In Goodall, it actually seems like it's stopped at them.
Oh, good. Joe?
Hey, yes, I'm coming from soggy, wet Mossvale, and yes, it's been teeming down rain here for days and days, and don't think it's going to let up this week. So it's been nice. I've actually been inside working on my songs today instead of out doing things that usually need doing outside and in the garden. So I'm loving it. I'm just going with it. I live on a hill, so I'm pretty safe.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing to do in the wet weather. Paul, what about you?
I'm coming to you from East Nowra, so not far from Jackie. But and it's been teeming down here, but yeah, we're high enough off the ground here that we're out of trouble. It's all right.
And Van Laura, how are you guys going? Are you keeping dry over there?
I think it's just stopped raining, so it's going to come back.
What part of the coast are you in? Nice. All right. Well, we're going to get to talk to all of these wonderful people and hear some great music here tonight. We're going to start with Jackie. So let's bring Jackie in line. All right. So Jackie, tell us a little bit about yourself and your music.
Oh, okay. Well, I started late in life, so I did a few things at school and in a band now and then I gave everything up for the family to have children, and got a couple of other careers to fall back on. And I think it was round about when I was about 40, I thought, you know what, I'm going to pick it up again. So I've been singing probably professionally now for about 14 years. But I've only been playing the guitar for about 4.
Wow, that's awesome.
So I started with the ukulele.
Oh,
so I played the ukulele for about 7 and then progressed to the guitar. Yeah.
Did you play in any of those ukulele groups?
Yes.
You know how they do. Oh, great.
Yes, I did. Yeah.
I've heard that's a lot of fun.
It is. And you meet heaps of people and you get very inspired, and it's very good for everybody's encouragement to go and play together as a group if you haven't done it before.
Yep.
So it's a very communal thing to do. It's wonderful.
All right, cool. Well, we're looking forward to hearing what you're going to play. I'm going to leave you on the stage and you just let us know what the song is about and take it away.
Okay. All right, so this song is called Sue Pride. My mother went overseas to a powwow, which only runs once every 25 years in North America. And when she came back, she showed me photos of their traditional dancing and their costumes and just the way they get their groove on. And I started to think about it and I thought, gee, there's a song in there. So I started researching about the Sioux people and I wrote this song called Sioux Pride. So I hope you like it. climbed upon his Mustang, headed down the mountain with these Sioux people in his sights. His face made a pony picks up the pace, rides like there's no time to waste. Watch him ride with surprise. Sitting there at your garden, passed away many years ago. If the strength of speech is mine, boys in this time to race. Buffalo, everything best. Lay down before I for this time. Buddies like to cooler good, but the son filled his way. Now he can ride with his tribe. Watch it ride with surprise. Oh, up to the on the hunt to do it again. A buffalo and skins from the snow. Cooter and her woman tribe, building stocking teepees and fish upon the double load. They'll use the motherland, stretch across the prairie trail. See a super warrior, take a stand. Watch him ride with surprise. Watch him ride with surprise. Watch him with surprise. He stood upon a mountain, looked at the horizon. A distant thread of smoke in the sky. Climbed upon his Mustang, headed down that mountain with these Sioux people in his sights. With these Sioux people It is just
Woo, Jackie! Sweet. There was an interesting internet was having a couple of issues through there, so when you hear it back, you'll hear the way that the compression was working on your guitar. But you could hear your beautiful voice coming through, which was lovely. And I wish I could have heard a few more of the lyrics, but I didn't get a chance to do that. Where can we hear your music? Where can people find you?
Okay, I have a Facebook page called Jackie B. That's been up and running maybe for a year. I'm in a band as well. So we're starting to do a lot of our originals. We've put out an EP of 6 of my originals,
Great.
which is really good.
Can people get that in all the usual places?
Yes,
all
it's
the
on
streaming?
Spotify, YouTube, all
What's
the
the
downloading
band?
streams.
What's
The
the band
band's
called?
called Cherry Marmalade.
Cherry Marmalade. Okay, you can check that out.
Marmalade, yeah. Yeah.
Wonderful. Well,
So,
thank you
yeah.
so much for being here and sharing some
Thank you
music
for
with
having
us.
me.
No worries. You can hang around to the end, and if you want to chat,
I will.
if we've got time. All right.
Great.
Thank you so much.
Thank
All right. Awesome. Let's bring on Danny James. Danny, how you doing, man?
Good.
I
How
think
are
your
you?
internet might be good. I'm good. I think your internet might have a little bit of delay too. So we'll keep the conversation down. Tell us a little bit about your music and where you're at and what you've released and all that sort of stuff.
At the moment, there's not really anything released. I really like to record. Sort of write stuff when I'm feeling a little bit down, so the song might come across a little bit depressing, but it helps. Yeah, really want to get into recording this year and get some music out there. Put it up on Facebook at least.
That's awesome. Well, the great thing about this show is there's been a lot of different producers that I've been talking to about this show, and it's going to be a way of linking up and finding even new producers that you may not have heard of. Also, Paul that's on here is a wonderful producer as well. So this is partly what Illawarra Songwriters is supposed to do, bring people together and make people aware of each other. So tell us about the song you're going to play, and I'll leave you on the stage to do that, and let us hear this song. Take it away.
Sure. Right. This song is called Follow, I guess. A little bit depressing. It's a bit of a breakup song, but yeah, we'll see how it goes. Ooh. For you, being still, then the rainbow. For you, on still, never let it go. Oh, never let it go. Until I feel no sense in soul, I'm still unwell, soul in my own head. She said, soul in what she read.
never let go. Follow me to yellow window. Follow me to follow me to yellow window. Follow me to. Yeah, that was awesome.
Thank
Great
you.
work there, man. I love well, you touched earlier on how music really helps get emotion out there, especially, you know, emotion that's sort of hard to deal with, like negative emotion or depression
Oh.
and things like that.
Deeply,
And
deeply.
I thi-
Normally, like, if I'm in a good mood, I don't really feel like writing or music or
Right?
lyrics or anything like that. I just enjoy the good times.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting the way that music is cathartic like that, and it works like that for so many different people. And I know so many musicians that fall into that writing only when they really feel those really harsh emotional times. Part of what I do though is help people write in all sorts of different times as well. So it's good. But you've got a great feel for your music there, and I can't wait till when you're actually able to get together and put something out there into the world. That'll be nice.
Awesome. Thanks, man.
Yeah. Thank you so much for being on here. Where can people find you?
At the moment, not really anywhere. Sort of hitting up local open mics, and I've really got to update my Facebook page for sure.
All right. Well, make sure you do that and keep in touch with us. And whenever you've got a new song, even if you've got written a new song and you want to try it out, we want to use this space as an opportunity to play a song out, hear some words. Here we got. Nice work, Denny, says Kath. Paul
Thanks, Kath.
says, great pop sensibility, Denny. So Paul is who we met earlier. We're going to chat to later
nice,
on.
yeah.
Peter Crone says, cool song. So you've got some people out there that have been hearing that love what you do already. So keep it up, and can't wait to hear what you come up with next.
Awesome. Thanks, man.
No worries. See you soon. All right. Let's bring Joe out. Hey, Joe. It's almost like a lottery, isn't it? It's like, oh my goodness,
Oh,
who's going
is
to
it
come on
me?
next?
Who's next?
Who's next?
Thank you so much
So-
for having me on your amazing show. This is really exciting. Well done. Good for you.
Well, it's all
Kudos to
new.
you.
It's all new, and it's something that I've been wanting to try out for a little while, and bring people together. Partly, it's a little bit selfish because partly I just want to get to know everyone.
Of
Because
course.
I lived in Nashville for so long, and the music community is so together over there. And you go out and you meet writers every day, and it's not as easy to do that in COVID times. And so this is just something that will bring everyone together, hopefully, or at least, you know, allow everyone to know of each other. So that's a cool thing.
Fantastic. Well, thank
Yeah.
you.
No worries. So tell us about your music. Tell us where you've been at. What's going on?
Okay. Wow. Well, all right. Well, I've lived half my life in Narooma on the south coast. That's where I was born and raised. And then for the last 20-something years, I've actually been up in the Southern Highlands. I've been playing music, since high school, since I picked up a guitar in high school. Actually, I was classically trained on the piano first. So I was always
Wow.
had music. My mum was a violin teacher. So there was a lot of music in the house. But when I got to high school and I got given a guitar to play, I went straight to the guys in year 12 and said, can you teach me how to play Wild Thing? And I want to play Jimi Hendrix. So
Wild Thing was my first song too. Only
Yeah,
I was playing the
three-
drums.
3 chords, right?
Oh, well, I was playing the drums, so I was like, yeah, let's play Wild Thing. That's awesome.
Yeah. So I did that for a little while at school. I also played the drums at school, so I had a little go of everything. But it wasn't until I saw another girl at school who was singing a song I hadn't heard. And I was like, well, what song are you singing? And she said, well, it's a song I wrote.
Wow.
I said, well, you mean you can write your own songs? She said, yeah. She had an older neighbour who was an artist, and, you know, she'd sort of taken her under her wing and taught her a bit of songwriting. Well, that was my epiphany, and that was just my light to a great tunnel, and it's just served me so beautifully for the last 30 years, you know.
Awesome.
It was my beacon. You mean I don't have to try and sound like other people? I don't have to try and be other people. You mean I can just be me? Well, hell, I'm doing that. So that was my light bulb moment when I was 16. And I've just been writing songs ever since. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Well,
so
let us know, tell us what you tell us about what you're going to play. I'll leave you on the stage and you can, take it away.
Well, I've decided to sing a song that's on my last album, my album that I recorded with as amazing South Coast producer Sid Green. He really took my music to another level. He pushed me really hard. He made me dig really deep, and for that I'm so grateful. This is a song that I wrote for my father. I wanted to write a song about my connection with him. And the thing that connected us when I was younger was driving around the place in a cattle truck, because we had lots of animals, cattle and horses, and we're always going to all the shows. So this is a song for my dad. When I was young, Daddy bought some land. He built a house of earth with his own two hands. Bought horses and cattle, built some yards and a colorbond shed for a Bedford truck. I learned to drive in that old green truck. No increment, so I doubled the clutch. He'd tape a block of wood where you step on the gas. The telephone broke by the seat of my pants. Daddy, will you shuffle across the hardwood floor? Back there in your arms like we were before. And I hope he knows what it means to me. Driving round, just Daddy and me. Mama laughed, Daddy didn't know what to do. I kept him running, I had to fool. There was work to do, so we got it done. And we loaded that truck, drove it right into the sun. Daddy, will you shuffle across the hardwood floor? Back there in your arms like we were before. Now I hope he knows what it means to me. Drive around, just Daddy. That old truck took us all around, but I only saw the showground. In every town, oh, I fell in love with the cowboy, and then he broke my heart. Now it sits in the paddock by an old steel gate. The grass grows up by the rest secret. But you should see the look on my little boy's face when he comes in the cattle truck at Grandpa's place. Daddy, will you shuffle across the hardwood floor? Back there in your arms like we were before. I hope he knows what it means to me. Drive him mad, Daddy and me. Just drive him round in the cattle truck, Daddy and me.
Woo! That was beautiful. I was playing along.
Oh, yay!
I loved it. It was very good.
Thanks.
Very cool. Yeah, I was sharing some of those memories because my dad carted cattle and grain and gravel and everything when I was a kid, and I spent a lot of my youth, being a little kid in this passenger seat of a truck driving around the North.
There you go.
So
Got more in common.
I was
than what
right
we
there.
thought.
I was right there. Very cool. So well, actually, I'm going to quickly throw this video up so you can have a chat. Tell us about this video as we throw it.
Oh, wow. Okay, that video, Albany was taken. Ooh, do you know about that one?
Oh, sorry. That was bound to happen.
That was bound to happen. I wish I could play guitar that, but
that's
not
when I
me.
don't get a chance to label the videos very well. Paul, we'll come back to you. Okay. Here we go. I'll let you tell us about it here.
World War and he sailed out of the waters.
Yeah, well, here I am in the studio
to go with the other Anzac soldiers
with Sid Green.
And like many of the other soldiers,
yeah, this is a song called Albany that I wrote when I was travelling around Australia for 7 months touring, promoting another album.
She saw him alive.
And I wrote this song in Albany. Have you ever been to Albany in WA?
I
haven't.
Anzacs for war.
Yeah, well, it's where the first 7 convoys of Anzac soldiers set sail and left the Australian waters. So for a lot of them, it was the last bit of Australian soil they ever stood on, the last waters they ever swam in. So it was a very emotional place for me. So I wrote this song. So I wrote this song about the connection of all those brave soldiers who set sail and never came home.
Wow.
Yeah.
And where was this actually filmed?
This is in the Mononest studio. Sid Green has a studio in Sanctuary Point. And I did my last album there, and I'll go back and do another album with him. It's a wonderful space, and he's a multi-instrumentalist, so he can lay down the drums. And on this song, it's just he and I. It's me playing the guitar and vocals. He's doing the drums, the bass, the resonator, everything else. Yeah. And he's very creative. He's got amazing ideas, and he really does push artists to elevate them. There he is. There's Sid. And his wife, Elena Green, is an amazing artist, and she took this video. And so it's just a very simple day in the studio, but it was just captured, and it's probably my favourite video, actually. I'm playing in dad tuning, so it's a few funky things that I'm doing there.
No, I love that tuning. You got this message.
What is it? Oh, it's from my daughter. Great job, Mum.
Matt McKenna says, sounds good, like it.
Oh, cool. Thank you very much.
Peter Crone says, great.
Thanks, Peter. Yeah, strategically placed T-shirt there, 1920. Have you heard of those guys?
Yeah. I met
good
those
friend.
guys the other day.
Yeah, well, there you go. Sid's the drummer in 1920, and the lead
Right.
man, Kane Donnelly. Yeah, good mate of mine. Really good guys. Those guys are really, they're carving
Great.
it up,
Yeah, looks
doing a
awesome.
great job.
You guys have good shoes too.
Yeah, I thought that. Yeah, they're pretty new actually. It's probably the cleanest those shoes had ever been.
So one of the important things when it comes to studio work is, what was the catering like?
Oh my goodness. Do you want me to let you know?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Well, I'll tell you, it's all going to be out now, isn't it? So I'm very good friends with Ellie, who's Sid's wife.
Yeah.
Ellie actually recently got me, introduced me to whole food plant-based eating lifestyle.
Wow.
Both Sid and Ellie and their little boy Rivi, they're all whole food plant-based. So it was amazing. So I would go there. It was the first time I'd ever had a green smoothie. It was the first time I'd ever eaten kale.
Wow.
It was the first time I'd ever had protein balls made with, a wonderful natural goodness. And and I converted to their way of life because they're such good people. And when you eat good food, you just resonate goodness, don't you? Elevates you
you'd
to a
think
high
so.
level. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we do have green smoothies, and it has all those things that you were talking about in them. But I also have this dark side of that. So I haven't completely cut off the other side yet.
Yeah, we all have that dark side. Don't worry. That's what balance is about. Yeah.
I always feel like I can be cancelled out by having a good green smoothie.
Yeah. Exactly.
This sounds really great. So
Thank you.
So is this off an album that people can get now?
Yeah, absolutely. So this was the title track from my album Albany, which is available online from my website. If someone would like an actual tangible hard copy, I do send them out signed, or it is on the online platforms, Spotify and that sort of thing. So yeah,
Awesome.
you'll find it.
Thank you so much for being here. It's been such a pleasure. Please don't be a stranger to Illawarra Songwriters. Come back whenever you like. If you want to say something, if you want to try out a new song or anything like that, we'd love for this to be like a sounding board for that as well. If you have any ideas, and also if you want to suggest other artists that might be involved, that would be great too.
Fabulous, Anthony. Thank you for having me. You are doing a great job. Thank you so
Awesome.
much.
No worries. Thank you. See you soon.
Okay.
Bye. All right. Van Laura, how are you guys going?
Okay.
I know you guys have been waiting in the background there for a long time, I know. And the drinks have probably been refilled a couple of times. Tell us a little. Yeah. You might have to replace your bass player, but tell us a little about. Tell us a bit about your music and all about yourselves.
Come on. Oh, okay. We're the Van Laura band, and what to say? Put on the spot.
Okay, where have you been? Have you been playing out very much?
We've got a few gigs that are coming up.
Great. Okay, and the music that you've been playing and writing, who does all the writing?
Me.
You do all the writing, and everyone interprets your writing?
Pretty much.
Tell us what your inspiration is for your writing.
No, I just usually just play on my keyboard and just do whatever.
See what
I was
comes
like,
up.
oh, this sounds cool, and then I.
All right. Well, you know what? You know what? Just take it away. Let's hear a song, and then we'll have a chat afterwards.
Okay.
Take it away.
Right, so this one is called Always Stay. walking along in pouring rain. I see your face on the sky. I tried to talk to you, but you didn't say a word. I asked if you wanted to stay at my place tonight to cheer you up, but you refused. Why can't you stay? I will always stay right beside you. Even when you feel like crying, I'll be here to hold you. I will always stay right beside you. Even though you feel like you're falling apart, I will always stay right beside you. No matter what, I'll always stay. Staying strong, holding a brave face, trying to hide the truth to keep me safe. And no matter what the truth is that you're trying to hide from me, I will always stay. And I will walk away. Don't walk away, I'll always be here, right with you. I'll find a way to fix this mess, be by your side. Don't hide away, I'll always be here, right with you. And no matter what, I'll always stay. I just can't bear to see you cry like this and suffer alone, refusing for help when you need it. I will always stay right beside you. Even though you feel like you can't move forwards anymore, I will always stay right beside you. No matter what, I will always stay. I will always stay right beside you. No matter what, I will always stay. No matter what, I'll always stay.
Wow. Well, that was worth waiting for. Oh my goodness. So, the questions I want to ask you. Okay, so have you released anything yet under Van Laura?
Not at the moment. No. Most of it's
You've
on.
got one. You've got OK on Spotify.
Oh, okay.
There is
Oh,
one.
sorry. I got okay on Spotify.
It's a song called OK, is that right?
Yeah.
And it's under the band name Van Laura?
Yes.
Where does the name come from?
Oh.
Vanessa Lorraine.
No, Vanessa Lorraine.
There you go. Well, while you're in the process, so Vanessa is on the keys.
My mom's on the keys.
That's
Right.
Lorraine.
Lorraine is you who've been writing all of the most of the music, yeah?
I write all the music.
I'm confused. You introduce everyone.
Yes, introduce everyone.
So we got Selena on flute, on a clarinet, which she's joined in a few weeks now. Yeah, a few weeks ago. And then we have Nick on bass. Bass Nick.
All right, I didn't get the name of the girl on the clarinet.
Selena.
Selena, who also plays flute, apparently.
No, clarinet.
Clarinet and tenor sax.
Right. Okay. Okay. And then on the bass,
We got Nick on bass.
Nick on the bass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Nick
And your
Dempsey.
mum.
And my mum on keys, and sometimes I play on keys as well.
Oh, wonderful. And what is your name?
That's my mum.
Yeah, no, what's your
What's your name?
My name's Vanessa.
Vanessa. All right. Well, welcome. And who's doing the sound for you tonight?
Oh, my dad.
Thank you.
He's right there.
James.
Hi, Dad.
Wait,
Well, you know what?
wait for the camera.
How you doing? Well, that sounds fantastic. Oh, sorry. I'm really interested in the sound of what you've produced there. Is the song that's available on Spotify, is that similar in sort of style?
similar style?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You can hear it
fantastic.
if you want.
Yeah, well, I
You can hear
will. I will.
it.
I'll go and check it out afterwards for sure. So anybody who wants to check out the music, they've got one song released on Spotify now. It's under Van Laura, is the band name. Is there anywhere else they can find your music? Do you have a website or something like that?
YouTube,
YouTube, iCloud, was it no, SoundCloud? Sorry.
Yeah.
Everything else.
Wonderful.
Laura.com.
And are you planning on doing some recording? Where are you doing your recording at the moment?
Yeah.
We're planning on doing some recordings, but at the moment we haven't done any.
All right. Well, it sounds really wonderful, and I'm excited to hear what you do with that music because it sounds perfect for film and TV. And it'd be great to get a lot of that material. If you've got a whole bunch of music that you've been writing like that, work with some good producers and make it world-class recording-wise. And songs, your melodies are beautiful. So get it out there. Great stuff. Really, really cool. Thank you for being on Illawarra Songwriters. Come back whenever you like.
Okay, thank you.
Awesome, guys. Thank you very much. All right, we'll hang around to the end if you like. I'm just going to bring on to the stage Paul Green. Paul, how you doing?
Anthony, how are you, mate?
Really good, man. Great to see you.
It's good to be seen.
What a great
Likewise.
representation that we've seen here tonight.
Oh, it's been
from the
fantastic. What a
coast.
great thing you're doing, man. Like bringing artists together, just like having anything communal and anything that just connects artists. Because at the end of the day, it's like no matter what end of the business you're working on, if it's being a musician or a promoter or a producer or a songwriter or whatever, it's like that's what it's about. It's about connecting people. Even an
Absolutely.
audience
So
and an artist.
I know that most people here will know who you are. We
I'm very
met a
flattered.
long time ago. Through Club Acoustica, I think, in
Yeah.
Sydney.
We were kind
when
of
we
cutting
was
our teeth at the same time when you started out. I was kind of
kicking around in Sydney.
We were both doing just whatever gigs we could pick up around town, and we ran
Yeah,
across
and I
paths several
remember
times.
You
I
were
would've
you were
stolen your
powering
wallet a few
on.
times.
Yeah, you were
I worked
powering
really-
on though. I was very, very green, and I remember going and I distinctly remember going to a management forum where you were on the panel, and there was a representative from Sony or somewhere and some other people, and you were representing independent artists, and you had an effect on me.
I'm freewheeling. Like I've always done my own thing. I've always wanted to, find a way. I've always felt like probably maybe like being a bit paranoid and a bit distrusting and worried about what could possibly go wrong if you don't understand what it is completely that you're doing. And so I always it always kind of scared me, but at the same time, I saw that area of the unknown as being an opportunity to learn, and so to figure things out, if by the hard way, but that's sometimes it's not a bad thing, and I can't say I'd change much. Like maybe, obviously I've made some mistakes and maybe done some dumb things, but I'm not, I think the way I've done things, I would do it again.
Yeah, I think it's that way because, it all leads to this point in time. And so, there's a million little things you could probably go, well, I could have done a little bit better there or wherever. But basically, it makes you who you are today. And, that is, you've worn so many hats and you're a producer and you've got your own studio. You've been running concerts in your own space as well. I want to hear all about that. But just say for the sake of it that someone's watching right now and doesn't know who you are, tell us who Paul Green is.
Well, I put my first album out in right on about just 1999. I put out my first records. It's a long time ago now, and I started working with Rob Hurst from Midnight Oil. We'd kind of, our paths had crossed because of my career in the past as an athlete. So I was a runner, and I actually represented Australia in the Olympic Games in 400 meters. I know, it's fucking
wow.
stupid. Excuse my language. Stupid, right? It's like that was something But anyway, on doing that, I travelled a lot, played a lot of guitar, wrote a lot of songs, just as like my own therapy, and then. So when I started, I was kind of off. I kind of got a bit more attention than I probably should have, and like I said, it scared me, and I was sort of paranoid, and I didn't know. And actually, like Gudinski, Mushroom Publishing offered me a deal, and they offered me this like ridiculous amount of money to sign with them, and I just said, look, I said to them, I won't be able to pay that back. How am I ever going to be able to pay that back? And so I like renegotiated a less of a deal so that it was something that I felt more comfortable that I could repay, not realizing that publishing advances were non-recoupable. So,
oh my goodness, that might have been one of those points where you kind of go, oh, I could have done that different.
I don't know. Like what I would have done differently is probably worked more closely with Michael Gudinski, because I think he was a genius, and I think he had, and we lost him recently. So I just want to say a little respect to Michael Gudinski, because I think anybody that's ever done well in the Australian music industry had something to do with him, and I think he was a visionary. And it's because of the path that I chose, and I took on, I worked with Jeff Bell, a booking agent out who's in Goulburn, who used to work with Casey Chambers, and he from being a nobody, I'd put out a couple of records, I think, by the time I started working with him, and I just toured and played everywhere that would have me in front bars, and sometimes I'd book halls in places and play where no one had ever gone, and the way I just did it was just like, you had to go from like Sydney to Adelaide, so I just try to book a few gigs in the middle and then like just hopefully be able to pay all the bills at the end of it. It was just, but Australia is such an enormous place, and there's so few people here. And it wasn't until I stood on the Hudson River on the west side of New York and looking over the city skyline of New Jersey and realizing that within my field of view was probably more people that lived in the entire continent of Australia, and understanding what energy it takes to get around that, and what energy it takes to navigate that, and the effort and the time. And and honestly, now looking back, I don't know how I did it, honestly. And I did it for 15 years, and it kind of wrecked me. Wow. I was in a pretty bad place after that, of just because you just, like, apart from just exhaustion, but you've got to just keep going and always be in a new place, and you've got to just conquer some new thing, and it was just I was just exhausted by the end of it, and I compensated by probably drinking too much and being a total rat bag, and it kind of made me, and the worst thing of that was it just made me kind of lose the love for what I was doing, because I was in so much pain. I was so fatigued. I had no more to give, you know, and I kept writing music and I kept doing things, but I've had a break now, and I've had like 7 years. It's been like 7 or 8 years since I've been on tour. And as I started like recuperating, and as I started healing and changing, I just kept doing what I love, and I just keep doing it, and it's sort of, so I've got Sounds Delicious, which is a concert series that I run, and it's like I do one a month, and it's a dinner and show, and I chef as well. And I do the sound, and it's you know, my family helps out, and just, you know, people really, some very good friends that help me out with that, but they're beautiful nights, and I get so much, feeds my soul so much. And we just had the Hussey Hicks and the New Graces on Friday night. And coming up, I've got Dave Graney, and I've got Ben Lee, and I've got Tim Friedman, and I've got some really great artists coming through. Like,
that's awesome, because
it just happens to coincide that everybody just wants to just stay in New South Wales and do little gigs, which is basically what I'm doing. So,
yeah.
But the other great thing of that was it's like, so I think there's like a bit of a responsibility for artists or people that have toured and been to lots of gigs and been to festivals to kind of show the average person that doesn't get a chance to do that what it's about. So I lost a lot of friends and customers, probably because the first couple of times I did Sounds Delicious shows, I'd stand up and I'd introduce people and do the house, you know, just say, "These the toilets are over there, and if you need to do this or whatever, smoke outside." And I was like, "And by the way, if you want to talk through the show, leave now. I'll refund you money." Because listening to a fine artist play and having a conversation with the person next to you is like ordering a good bottle of wine and drinking it while you're having chewing gum. You're not going to appreciate it, and you're not going to get the best experience out of it. So out of consideration to the other people that are here, please leave. And so, I kind of didn't make any friends by saying that, but what's happened is it's kind of like now everyone's there, gets it, and it's a really magic experience for the audience. It's a magic experience for the artist, and there's that.
That's awesome. That's super important. And I've played a lot of house concerts. And that's exactly what you've got to do. You've got to set up an environment that is a concert environment.
Yeah.
And so people understand what's expected of them, and they get so much more out of the show.
It's a kind of the first step for me, because if you're playing under the Keno machine, it's like, you know, like you're never going to, no one cares if you're like, you might be a great songwriter, and everyone here tonight that I've seen has some incredible merit. Like what they're doing is fantastic. Like everybody's on a different stage of their journey. Some are further down than others, but if you're just doing pub gigs, you're entertainment. Like you're in the liquor and gaming industry. If you're just playing in the front bar of the pub, if you have a ticket show on, then you're in the arts industry, and then you can present yourself in the way that you want to present yourself, and you might only get 10, 5, I don't know, 50 people to your gig, whatever that might be, depending on how hard you work on promoting it, but the difference between those two scenarios is in the second, where you're charging a ticket price, they're there to see you. They're there to see art. They're not just there to be entertained. And I think too many artists, that seems like a very, very long way away to be able to get people to pay money to come and see them play. But it isn't as hard as it looks. It's not that difficult. There's a few tricks to it. And
how much of that do you think is embedded in the Australian culture?
Well, we're just a very young culture, you know. Like when we don't have a history of creating great musicians. Well, we did, but that kind of disappeared in the kind of like by the end of the 90s, when you know, there was no Australian content on Australian radio, when we're being dominated by all the major record labels that are payolaring to have all the great American hits put on, and we lost that hold on radio that bands like, well, Midnight Oil are one that never had it. Like they were never kind of quite accepted by radio, but the Divinals and Men at Work and this, that all that crew that are now like kind of our nostalgia, like they're our nostalgia bands in a way. I call them that, but they had that thing where like local programmers played local music, and if someone was pulling good numbers to shows, like take 1920 for example, a band that's been mentioned tonight. I know the guys from that, and Sid Green, and they've built a really great audience, and they deserve to be played on radio, because if they were played on radio, more people would be listening to them, and that's the thing that radio don't quite get. That there is an audience there that want to hear our local musos, just like we want to support our football team. And then if the radio stations got on board and played local music, the commercial stations, thank God Nick Reinberger is out there and supporting local artists and local musicians, because he's an anomaly. Like he's rare. Everyone else is so scared to give new music a go.
ABC's been pretty good, and also there's a lot of community stations, but commercial stations are really tough to get in front of here in Australia.
Yeah, but I think this is the next part of it, of the music industry. If you're trying to conquer mainstream, you've got a big battle ahead of you. Whereas my career was person by person, is still. I would go and do gigs, and I'd go and play in the front bar or someplace, and no one really cared. And if there was one person there that liked it, out of the 30 people that might have been at the gig, and there might have been 29 that didn't care, but that one person that actually liked it, I got the email. I let them know next time I was coming to town, and asked them to bring their friends. And so that's how you build communities. It's just little bit by little bit. It's person by person, and it's not expensive. You don't have to spend millions of dollars on publicity. You just find the people that like what you do, and you just keep in touch with them. And sometimes that's a lot of effort, but you can do that still relatively easily. And that's, I think, what music is about. It's about creating a community, and that if you are diligent about it and just do the work, like take the emails and then put the email into your database, then that's sort of what you need to be doing.
That is some brilliant advice right there. So if you're listening now and you're thinking about how you're going to do some music and how you're going to get out there, listen to that advice, because that is 100% true, and I've found that to be correct. Touring America as well, it doesn't matter where you are, creating that crowd around you and your music is 100% what you need to be doing.
Because if you find that one person that like might be on holidays and they might see you somewhere out of town, right? And so they're there and they're like, you stay in touch with them, and they're like, well, and you've met them after the show, and maybe they've bought a CD and they've listened to your CD and they love it, and they get in touch with you, and they're like, you can contact them no matter where they're from, and just say like, you can come and do a gig in their backyard, or you can, or if you do a gig in the local hall or something, then you tell them to, you just contact them and call them and say, hey, like, need your help. And there's a when you're kind of flying independently, and it's like under the radar a bit, like that can become a whole job in itself, like when you get to a certain point. But I think that it's kind of the only way to do it. And then once you get to a point where you can make an album and you've got enough contacts around the country, then you can sell 1,000 albums, hard copies of your album. It's like, that's not bad numbers if you're making them, printing them yourself, and that pays for the studio and it pays for your travel, and it's like, and then that can turn into another album. It's like starting small and just building those small bits by small bits and building up to it. And so after 9 or 8 albums, really, I did 4 albums through ABC Music, and I was nominated for ARIA for Best Blues and Roots Record in 2012, which was also an album that I produced and recorded myself.
Oh, that's amazing.
That was the biggest achievement for me. It was like knowing that I made this record in a little shed with my band, like in a little and it was up there next to Jeff Lang and Mia Dyson and all these incredible artists that were like the top 5 ARIA of the year that year. And so that kind of like for me sparked a new. Well, I'd already been mucking around in 4 tracks all my life, really, and just like recording. I loved it, and trying to get things, not so much sounding great is very much an opinion, but I just wanted to create something that sounded like me, because I felt like when I gave it to somebody else to work with, like their idea of what I was had these filters on it, of like, well,
Of course.
that's not going to get played on radio, or that's not going to, that's not what people are listening to now, or whatever. It's like, I don't care about that stuff. I just wanted to sound like me. And I felt like there was always these filters involved. And so that's what kind of actually drove me to produce my own stuff. And then from that, so the first album I produced actually got the best reviews of anything I'd ever done. And then from that, I got asked to produce for James Blundell. And then I did an album for Kirsty Lee Akers. And then, and now now my studio is kind of built, and now I've got, I'm producing, I just did a band called Wolf Whistle that are from Unanderra, that'll be coming out very soon. I've just produced a record for Nick Reinberger. I'm just about to start doing a new one for him.
Yeah, we were talking to Nick earlier, I think last show about that.
He's an amazing artist. Like he's got a lot of strings to his bow. As well as being, as I mentioned, one of the only guys supporting local music on radio. He's an incredible artist, and he's got a background in writing comedy. So I was sitting around the campfire with him, and he was playing me these songs that he'd never played live, and I was like, these are great. We need to capture these. And so anyway, the album's up. It's on iTunes, and it's on Bandcamp as well. So check out Family Entertainment by Nick Reinberger.
Cool. Well, before there's a ton more to say about your career, because you've done so much, but we'd also love to hear you play something. Can you throw a song in now for us, just to give everyone a chance to have a listen tonight for you?
Sure. All right.
That would be awesome. All right, I'll leave you to it.
I'm gonna go minimal.
You're just gonna play the harmonica.
Play through the amp.
I'm gonna leave you. You're listening to Paul Green on Illawarra Songwriters. Take it away.
I saw the world through stupid man's eyes, and I find out now that these eyes are mine, because I didn't understand what I think is being said. My own little world in my own little head, and then a thought came in. And then a thought came out. And then I forgot what I was thinking about. That I might see the world through stupid man's eyes, but at least I know that I'm not blind. Man's eye to find out what was wrong with my mind. He didn't understand what I was trying to say. His stupid ears kept turning away, but then I thought it came in. And then a thought came out. And then I forgot what I was thinking about. That I might see the world through stupid man's eyes, but at least I know that I'm not blind. Chance, can you let me know that you hear what I'm saying? But before I go, I'd just like to say that I really don't mind seeing the world through stupid man's eyes, because a thought came out, and then a thought came out, and then I forgot what I was thinking about. So, that I might see the world through stupid man's eyes. Yeah, I might see the world through stupid man's eyes. And we can all see the world through stupid man's eyes, as long as you know that you're not blind.
That's awesome, man. That's what I remember. That's what I remember from, I think, one of the gigs that I saw you playing in Tamworth, actually. There was a gig in Tamworth that you came and you had your stomp box out and you were playing. It was just so raw and so real. And I remember being super inspired by that. And it was all just encompassed in what you just did then. That was brilliant. That was awesome.
Thanks, man.
Thanks, man. That was so good. It was so refreshing, and I think that I was watching everyone else's head bobbing along as well in here. And hang on, we've got a few people calling in. Peter says it's awesome.
Thanks, Peter.
And there's a few other people on tonight. It's just awesome to hear. We could do a whole show just talking to you about your experiences and some of the things that you could pass on to some, new writers and people that are interested in getting into the music industry, because we've got everyone, all different facets of the industry that are going to be listening to this, even post-show. But is there a particular thing that you can talk about that might be the golden ticket, other than creating your own crowd around the music that you do? What is it that an artist can do or a songwriter can do once they've got their songs together and they're pretty confident, they've been playing them out? How do they? There's a lot of people that have been playing songs and writing songs in their bedrooms, but they just don't know how to get. What's the next step for them?
Well, that's kind of that's one of the things that I've been helping people with, just getting it from that stage of trying to. I'll get onto the advice in just a second before I just I've just bring into what I've been doing of trying to facilitate artists to make music without it being scary, because you don't, as an artist, you shouldn't need to know the legalities of copyright. You shouldn't need to know how to promote yourself. In fact, the best artists that I work with have got no idea about that sort of thing. They just do this great thing, and it's like they should be allowed to do that and just do that. And so firstly, my advice is to then find people that can help you do what you do. Like find people that can help you. Sid Green was mentioned tonight. He's an amazing producer and a great facilitator. It's what I do as well. So I produce and help people, even from a really early sort of learning stage right through to kind of mixing, mastering, and then I'm trying to set up a record label. Well, I have set up a record label that I can then take an artist's work and release it and guide them and coach them. And it's sort of like a partnership where we make the best music that we can, and then we work on getting it out there to people and sort of work together. So I'm trying to figure out a way to break down the paradigms of the record label owning everything and being the kind of gatekeepers, and find a way that I can find people in the community, like local artists, and develop and even like get them to the point where they're ready. Because the one thing I've learnt about all the great artists out there is like they started out really weird. Like they just know, like quite often a lot of the artists that like just Red Hot Chili Peppers, for example. Okay, you listen to their first few records, and you put that back into the time of when they did it, and it's like there is no way anyone would have believed you. So you said this is going to be one of the biggest bands in the world one day. But they were allowed to just be weird and just make music, not to make money, not to impress anyone, not to try to get any kind of result. They just did what they wanted to do. And I think
they made art.
That is the thing, because what happens when you start trying to pander and you start trying to second guess what music you think other people want to hear, is that you just become bland and boring, and you become like everything else out there. Whereas I just say, just let your freak flag fly and just be your own kind of weird and do that the best you can, and get better at doing that kind of weird, because no one's going to come to you because you sound like the next Taylor Swift, because there's already a Taylor Swift. They're going to come to you if you're a Lord, or they're going to come to you if you're a Billie Eilish, or they're going to come to you if you do, or a Kurt Cobain. They're going to come to you if you're somebody that is a revolutionary. They're not interested if you're the next one in line that does that thing really well, but not quite as well as the first person that did it. So stop listening to trends. Stop trying to be other people. Just be yourself, and find people that can help you do that, and have some faith that that's. And if, you know what, if you do it and no one comes to you, like, so be it. But like, that's more likely to get attention, or to create something that you're going to be proud of, 30 years down the track, like I am, than it is if you just try to be the next thing that's fashionable. And I think that's the number one kind of hole musicians fall into. They feel like they have to be something that they're not to be someone that's going to be noticed or successful. And so I just say, have faith in yourself and be you. Don't let anyone else tell you you need to be anything else. And if someone tries to change it, it's like they're not the right person to work with. Don't go with someone else. Keep looking, but just strive to just be the best version of you and your art that you can be, because everything else is a compromise.
That is some solid advice right there. All right, let's throw this up. I already threw your video up earlier, partly, but let's jump into this one. So talk to us about this.
So this one was off the album that was the ARIA finalist. This song's called Seek What You'll Find. This was after a long time of playing on the road, and as the footage will show, I actually got a really good friend of mine, Hugh Hartshorn, who's an incredible photographer, to come on tour with me and shoot bits of our tour.
Wow.
And he actually shot a lot of this video. I edited it myself, it's quite nostalgic watching it now.
Yeah, I bet.
Right there you can see Mickey Laws. He was a drummer in Spy vs Spy. Neil Beaver was also in Spy vs Spy, which was a band I fronted for about 7 years.
I remember that.
But it kind of, I think it's good at showing the journey that I took, of the energy and the time that I went to get out there and do it on my own.
I wonder if that beard at the time ever knew what it was going to eventually grow into. The little goatee had no idea what was ahead of it.
A little bit of attitude, that's it. No, the beard was a very conscious decision to defy lockdown laws, because I realised that they were going to use facial recognition cameras to get people that weren't adhering to the laws.
Right.
So I grew a beard so that I wouldn't get recognised on facial recognition cameras, and then I got to quite like it, so I kept it.
It does. It suits you really well. I didn't know that facial recognition has trouble with beards.
They're all over now. Well, look, Facebook. I just think when I grew a beard, Facebook didn't know who I was. Do you know who this is? Kept coming up on my Facebook. I was like, oh, you don't know who I am. But at the same time, like I went through a divorce roundabout not long after I made this video, and not about the time I was nominated as an ARIA finalist. Yeah. I broke up with my wife and we had 2 kids, and it destroyed me. Like it was, and I feel like who I am now is not this guy that you're seeing on the video. Like I've been totally destroyed, and I've built myself again. And this.
What do you say? What would you say to this guy if you could see him again in this time?
I'd say get better at quitting. Stop hanging on so hard for shit that's not working.
Right.
No, he was all right. He did okay. I'm proud of him. He did good.
He did all right.
Made some stupid decisions, but ultimately I think his heart was in the right place.
It's a great sounding record.
Yeah, so this was the first album I produced. My bass player Neil Beaver also worked on it with me. He worked on a lot of the final mixes. I'm still drinking red wine. But this is us. This gig was actually in not far from Albany. It was Port Lincoln, just the other side of the Great Australian Bight, only about 2,000 kilometres away. Wow. That Joe Casely was talking about. Yeah, but this, I think the production of this record was the thing I was most proud of. There's a good bunch of songs too.
Great stuff. Well, should we bring everyone back in? Bring everyone back in and let's have a little conversation, see if there's any questions anyone wants to throw at each other. This is actually what I wanted to do for some of the other shows that we never got there. Let's bring in Jackie and Laura, Denny. Joe's out. Oh, she must be... hey, guys. Welcome back. I'm going to bring this.
Hey there.
Awesome. Thank you for sticking in. So if you guys have any questions for each other or questions for Paul, that would be awesome. You can throw them out there now if you want.
Message, Paul. I sent a message to Paul in 2014. He never answered.
2014. Yeah, I had my hands full in 2014. I was going. Yeah, I had my hands seriously full, and
It's right after a gig in the that water place in Huskinson. But okay.
the Waterhouse.
Yeah.
Denny, your microphone is muted. No, I can't unmute it from here, so it must be from you, from your side. All right, there it is. If there's no other questions, I don't think Joe's coming back. Thank you so much, guys, for being here and sharing this session number 5. This is only 5 weeks in. And the idea is to keep this going, like weekly if I can, and also as the streaming service, like we're currently using a service called StreamYard.com, which allows us to do all this kind of fun stuff. There's a few others out there as well that hopefully will enable me to have guest hosts as well, so people can bring together their thing. I find it funny, Paul, that room there, if you hadn't have said it was a vocal booth, it almost looks like a toilet.
Or it looks like a fridge when it's closed.
Or a fridge when it's closed. It's like,
Yeah.
where do I find the beers? Just go in there and you sneak a vocal out of someone.
It's actually it's like that's an original like 1950s, I'm guessing, ABC vocal booth, like the kind of one that they would have used like after the Second World War to like talk between telegraph stations back in the day.
Where'd you get that from?
It was in a studio in Wollstonecraft, and they couldn't figure out how to take it apart, and they said I could have it if I figured out how to remove it. So
And
I
you
put
were
on
like,
my very clever brains, and I figured out how to remove
all
it.
right, here I am. I've got a hammer.
Yeah.
I've got a crowbar. Let's go.
I've always loved recording in spaces. I think the space you're recording in is a really important part of what you're doing, and so being able to isolate it and being able to just like do something that's completely controlled is it just changes everything as opposed to when you're in a room that's really live. And I find that fascinating. I love spaces. Love recording in spaces.
Absolutely. All right, guys. Well, the other thing that I want to say is there anyone, any other open mic night type things going on that we should know about, that we should just let everyone know about? Yeah?
Yeah, I'm doing a residency at the Bottle Rocket in Nowra for the next from next Sunday. I'm doing it every Sunday until in April.
What time?
It's from 6 to 8 or 9, and it's with Red, the percussionist Red. And the other thing is we can be the house band. So I'm on bass and he can do percussion. We're doing our own thing and working on some new songs. So
What
if you want to be
nights
part
is
of
that?
Sunday night.
Sunday
from,
night.
From 6 to 9.
6 to 9. Well, if you're not going to be on Illawarra Songwriters, that's where you want to be.
Yeah.
'Cause that's our time slot.
Sorry. Hey, maybe we could just have Illawarra Songwriters on the screen. It's like behind the stage. We should do that.
Yeah, or maybe we could do a
Playing
live
breaks.
from your gig. That would be cool.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. That sounds like a good. That sounds like a good way to do it. So Jackie, please come down and do a few songs for us.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I played there before. It's all acoustics are a bit weird, but it's good. Yeah, it's hard to set up. Can I do a plug? Can I do a plug while I'm here?
Go ahead. Yeah,
Do
yeah.
a plug. Oh, you got an album?
Yeah,
All right.
Yeah. there we go.
So
It's a little EP. Yeah.
Where can you get
There you
them?
go. Well, okay, you can get them at our next gig.
Where's your next gig?
Oh, okay. Our next gig is at the Mountain Ridge Winery on the 4th of April, which is Easter Sunday. After that, we're at Sussex Inlet RSL, and after that, we're at the Vault. And then after that, we're at Southern Highlands Food and Wine Festival. And,
Great.
just go on to
Fantastic.
the Facebook page and go onto the events and check us out.
Great stuff.
Actually, I've got another thing. I've got another thing to plug as well, but this isn't. It's not. So I've been asked to curate a live and local festival for Shoalhaven City Council, which is going to involve 2 mini festivals and a whole bunch of gigs in the throughout the Shoalhaven at various venues. And there's going to be posters up that you'll be able to QR code to register as an artist or a venue or an audience person. If you want to figure out where the gigs are happening, you want to have info on it, you can do that. But also, if you want to be involved with that, also just message me as well, and I'll make sure that you're
Great.
Awesome. That sounds great.
Sounds
Everyone
great.
should get in on that. That sounds
Paid
brilliant.
gigs. Paid
Yeah. All
Ooh,
right.
get
Anything
back.
else going on that we should know about? Denny, you got anything? Van Laura, go for it.
Well, I don't know. I met these guys at Ryan's, was it Tavern Hotel?
2 years ago?
Ryan's in Thirroul. Where every Thursday night, starting from 7, open mic run by Kane Denelli, mentioned.
From 1920.
Yeah, from 1920. So plug. Where I've been going there religiously for 2-3 years because, well, the level of talent is just well above average, mostly.
Yep.
Uh,
So that's Ryan's in Thirroul on Thursday nights, every Thursday night.
You guys are
Yeah,
residencies
just about,
every
yeah.
Thursday?
Yeah.
I love residencies. I think residencies are the way to go when you're starting out.
Yeah,
Just find
and
a
then
pub and
there's
just play there every week.
The URW Unibar open mic is on Tuesday
Tuesday
evenings.
night, yeah.
I know it finishes at
5
9. I don't know
5:30,
what time
I
it
think I
starts.
read.
Yeah, 5:30 till 9.
So I didn't hear where that was. Was that the Unibar?
Yeah, the Unibar.
Unibar,
at
URW,
Wollongong.
And what night of the week is that?
Tuesday night.
It's Tuesday.
Right, great. Tuesday nights at the Unibar also has an open mic night. Fantastic.
Cool.
Well, fantastic. Thank you so much, guys, for being here. Does anyone else have anything to say?
Yes.
Thank
Anthony,
you.
You're a legend for doing this. This is such a great innovation.
Awesome.
What a fantastic way to connect like musicians in the Shoalhaven. And I'm a fan and a champion of the cause. And if there's anything I can do to help, please let me know.
All right, well, we'll talk and we'll all make it happen. I love this. This is the vibe that I love. So, this is what we want to hear more of. Tell more people about this. Tell other artists that you know about this, and we'll just keep doing it. Oh, Joe's here. Here, Joe's came back. Hang on, Joe came back in. Wait a minute. Hey, Joe.
Hey! Sorry, in between putting kids to bed, you know what it's like.
It reminds me, in Mossvale Hotel, starting at, currently it's 12 till 4 is an open mic event there as well.
Yes.
Mossvale,
yes.
12 to 4 open mic event.
I'm actually playing at the Eden Brewery on Friday night. So, yeah, if anyone that's up in the Highlands, that's a lovely venue for live and completely original music. Yeah, so.
What was the venue again, sorry?
Eden Brewery?
The Eden Brewery in Mittagong. Yeah, craft brewed beer, and it's a nice intimate setting. And yeah, I've played there a few times. It's good. There wasn't a lot of space for artists in the Highlands who play original music for many years. So for many years, I had my own shows in Penrose. I used to do hall concerts there for quite a few years, and similar to what Paul's doing now with friends that did the food, and I'd do the music and get a guest artist. And it was wonderful. So I really did have to build my own space. But there's more places popping up now to play as an original artist, and it's fantastic. And the community's building, and what you're doing is fantastic, Anthony. And thank you. It's just great.
No
Great
worries.
to keep it going.
No worries at all. And look, and I want to say, Paul McCarthy was on last week, and I had to cut it short. And as Alex said, did I have to go to the hospital at the end of the last show?
Yeah.
Yes, I did. My son had to go in a hospital in Wollongong, and then because he was so young, they couldn't scan him there what they wanted to do. So then he ended up in Sydney. Woo! Like, it was right on the end of the show. But that's what happens when you got kids, you know. But everything, he was fine.
Right.
He was fine. It was all just precautionary. So everything's good. But it just meant that I had to end the show on Paul's video. So thanks for being understanding, Paul. And that's what happens with live shows, right? Anyway, thanks so much, guys. I hope we get to do this all again. Don't be strangers. Come back to Illawarra Songwriters whenever you like. And if you want to get together a crew of other artists that you would like to be on with, we could do that as well. And I'm totally open to all sorts of ideas like satellite shows where we can go live from different places and maybe use Illawarra Songwriters as you know, this happens every Sunday, but it's a page that can be active every day of the week if it needs to be. So, you know, put your thinking caps on and, you know, make it a creative space for everyone to get together and, you know, and to get to know each other. Awesome.
Thanks, Anthony.
Thanks, Anthony.
guys.
Great to hear all you guys. Wonderful.
See you later.
Thanks.
Bye.